scenario. Well, Mia Mottley now weighing in and suggesting it's a big lie and says it's, well, defamatory in the extreme. Defamation. Strong words. I saw even the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, weighing in. So this particular issue, again, it's certainly creating conversation. And, well, remember, in this particular clip, the President of Barbados said all differences will be resolved away from the cameras and the microphone. And I'm sure this would have been a major talking point. So we stand by to see what's going to come out of that development. Indeed, we look on and we'll bring you all updates here via the Morning Brew. I'm also looking at a development here with the CARICOM leaders, as it says here on The Guardian. They hit back against Prasad Bisessa's criticism. We heard some remarks from the Prime Minister of Grenada, Prime Minister of Dominica also weighing in, also the Prime Minister of Jamaica. And they all were there, still very much on the ground in St. Kitts and Nevis. I saw them yesterday in matching outfits. Some special designer did this kind of, you know, everybody was kind of in the same top. And I said, well, how come the PM is not there? And I heard that, well, Derice Polo. I must say, well done, Derice. Derice is out there giving us, I mean, the real ball by ball. She is on the ground working. And she established yesterday in her report that the PM made her way back home to treat with Parliament, I believe, today. So we stand by. Derice will give us the latest as the CARICOM 50th Summit comes to its conclusion, its natural conclusion later on this evening, and we wish Derice a safe journey back home. Speaking about home, I'm watching a development with a lawsuit that involves Philip Alexander. It says here, businessman wins libel. Appeal against Alexander. Obviously, I think what I was seeing via the case, it was like a small money to pay. And, well, the businessman said, hey, we want more than that. That's the businessman there, Gabriel. So we're looking at this particular development based on words, utterances. Some years ago, I believe 2017 would have been the year, and now a judgment is made. And I guess this is really an interesting time we find ourselves in, and it goes to show that words do matter, words carry weight, and there are consequences. So we need to be rather careful. And, well, I mean, obviously, you know, Philip is one very sharp with the tongue, very sharp with his commentary. I've not really seen any major change in perspective, even as a junior minister. I mean, I enjoy great conversations with him on the set, but indeed, I think when he's here, he's very measured, very, you know, very diplomatic, I would say. But it's outside of the space where I guess folks like Philip Alexander and others on both sides of the political divide, people go in really hard, very sharp with their commentary, and I guess it's a different timing. And folks will, at least if you're speaking in the public domain, you'll have to be factual and really bring hardcore evidence to the table. But we find ourselves in a time where pictures are being used, words are being used, lots is being done in the social media space. And that's a rabbit hole. If you decide to go in that rabbit hole, you could get lost there because there's bacchanal every single day, and I choose to kind of stay far from that space. And if stuff is said, even about me, remember, there was one particular junior minister now who every now and then he loves to send sharp criticism my way. And when I see him in real life, we always cordial, I hug him up and act normal. At least for me, what's been my saving grace, I've recognized that it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to. And I think it's important to know who you are. You know, surround yourself with love and people who embrace you. And, you know, let them say what they have to say. You know, it don't impact me. I have recognized the way to disarm all negativity and hatred is to be the light in the darkness, is to conquer them with love. And that's what I do. Sounds very cliche, sounds very kind of airy-fairy, but trust me, it works like a charm. That particular guy, I remember walking up to him, I tell you, sharp criticism, especially when I got this particular program, he went to town, that particular junior minister. Not Philip, another junior minister. And boy, what he say, he forget to say. And I saw the man in St. James in a bar, went up to him and hugged him up like I usually do. Man went off running, you know. went off running, straight to his car, boop, boop, bounced out and gone. And I said, yes. Kill them with love, Jason. Kill them with love. Kill them with love. Kill them with love. And you know what, that same particular, you know, and that's why I give Philip his ratings. I mean, yes, he'll have to deal with this. But Philip will always make time and come on the program regardless. But there are many, you know, they just don't come. And the fact of the matter is, you know, everybody who will come on the show will testify to my professionalism and my style. And I never will bring somebody here. We are coming here to quarrel and to draw fight, to draw sword and to jump kick. No, we come in to have a conversation. And there are many who will talk a big talk and they would not come. And I'm sure there's information and there's lots to share with the nation, especially when you're in a role of leadership, a role of policy making. So I invite all and sundry, even those who I know not on me and those who I might not be on, that doesn't matter. When we are treating with the business of Trinidad and Tobago, it's important for us to be on the same page, and any way I can help, regardless of how I feel about somebody personally, I would always assist to advance Trinidad and Tobago's interest. Because for me, it's nation first, always, yeah? Let's head to the back page. Well, we didn't get through in the cricket yesterday, and it's going to set up a really tough one for us against India, from what I'm seeing. Hope says we have to regroup and be ready for India, with a must-win game looming against the defending champions India on Sunday. West Indies captain Shea Hope has admitted that they must execute better if they want to move on to the semifinals of the ICC T20 World Cup. Listen, we would have had to face India anyway, right? To win this tournament, you have to face the best. And I think it's best we treat with that immediately. You need to be on your A game. And remember, this is happening in India. So it's going to be a tall order. But we can. You have to believe it. You have to step out there with that mental tenacity, that presence of mind, and you have to just literally be in the zone. Every single ball, every delivery, our men in maroon need to show up, because it's curtains if they don't on Sunday. We wish them the best. Let's head to the brief, and we have to say goodbye again to another stalwart. We lost two big ones this week, and well, I'm looking at the cultural fraternity as they say farewell to Bino Charles, a real stalwart when it comes to, you know, the marionettes chorale and singing and being just on stage, being free on stage, living that particular passion. And we thank her for the contribution and for the music over the years. Rest in paradise. And to the top of the brief this morning, a street vendor showing off all the good crops. That's right, looking good. This, of course, Charlotte Street, Port of Spain, where you could still get, I would safely say, good food for a real amazing price. You can't beat Charlotte Street for that, and the Central Market. A matter of fact, all the markets, the Penal Market, the Saparia Market, Sando, all right, Sawa Market, Tunapuna, very vibrant. The Arima Market, there are those who, they enjoy the market run. Every Sunday, every Saturday, they get up, they go to the market bag, they have the favorite vendor. That's a whole culture. That's a whole rhythm. And there's a whole vibration in the market. And you can get definitely some really amazing prices. So to those who do the market every weekend, enjoy. And to the vendors who provide us with food and the little bargains here and there, we thank you for the tremendous service. Let's get ready. We take the pause on this Friday morning. Dr. Shane Mohammed joins me. We treat with CARICOM and that meeting and pending meeting with President Trump and Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and what benefits could come from that for Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Shane, up next.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800 Trin or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome back. As promised, Dr. Sheen Mohammed, political analyst, joins me on the Zoom line. Dr. Mohammed, great to see you.
Yeah, same here, my friend. Very, very, very interesting week. Started on CNC3 early this week, ending it this week, but this has been a long week, but an interesting one.
Interesting one indeed, and we want to start with the Prime Minister's address to CARICOM. Now, you know, in the politics, it's like night and day. It could never really please everyone, and I'm sure the detractors, they continue to sing the chorus of the PM being out of touch. The supporters find her presence and her speech to be a brave one. She stood there on the stage and was able to deliver to CARICOM leaders her particular agenda. Let me ask though, when we do the analysis, I mean, for me, looking at it very objectively, my only criticism really would have been the utterance concerning Brent Thomas. I found time and place. That was something I thought could have been done within the, within the four walls, away from everyone, to treat with that, because now we're seeing a whole back and forth, and the Prime Minister of Barbados suggesting now all that was said is a lie. I mean, obviously, that's a kind of sour point. So let's start there, and let's lead to the more positive, or at least the more impactful parts of her speech. What's your take on that, Brent Thomas, and using the forum to bring up that particular grievance when she was, at the time, opposition leader?
I think we have to take into consideration the context that, because it happened in Barbados, there's a perception that the comment was made directly towards the Prime Minister of Barbados. But what people need to understand is that in the aftermath, so the pictures and the videos that we saw, especially the statements that Prime Minister Motley said that we will settle our differences behind without cameras and mics, that's very significant. And people have to understand that there's a lot of narratives that people want to put out there, and you use the word detractors, but there's a lot of narratives that people are going to put out there that will suggest that for some reason or the other, that Trinidad and Tobago is at odds with Barbados, and their prime ministers are at odds with each other. What is significant about them meeting again in St. Kitts is that this is the first time that they're meeting in an in a setting outside of Trinidad and Tobago. For the first time that they're meeting as prime ministers of each nation, and Prime Minister Passabi-Sissa said that. But they both worked on a matter in 2008 that spoke to a matter that was a constitutional matter, where Mia Motley was Queen's Counsel at the time. Prime Minister Passabi-Sissa was the instructing attorney. They were attorneys on a very critical matter that is significant to the constitutional arrangements in Antigua, in St. Kitts and Nevis. That's one. But the fact is, the grievance really wasn't about what happened and it wasn't directed from what I understand and what I've been told, as it pertains to Barbados. But
it was directed to the Secretariat, it seems like.
Secretariat.
Right, but what I'm saying is, and that's what I'm saying, in terms of airing that grievance there, to me that should have been a private conversation, because you have to read the room, ultimately.
No, Jason. Let me tell you why. That the statement it flows in a context that we are all going to be sitting in opposition, and then we're going to come into leadership, and then we're going to go back into opposition. But we all belong to this bloc of a very small group of nations where there should be a level of transparency and accountability and agility. And those are the three words that I got that I keep using in that because of that message. And it really was to send a message that I am now here at the podium, in this forum, at the podium with the mic, and it is to show you how time lapses can be so short, because you refused, as the Secretary General of the CARICOM, to even acknowledge my letter and let it just wait. So there was nothing. There was absolute deaf-tone silence of even an acknowledgement of the letter indicating that something will be forthcoming, even if it never is forthcoming. Because we all go through scenarios where we write letters or we write requests for something, and there's an acknowledgement, but then there's no action after.
But isn't that the stark reality of anyone who is in opposition? Because I recall when the current opposition, and this is a different scenario, obviously, when Penelope Beckles, and again, I'm holding no brief, but I'm looking at this from a most objective point of view. When she went to the UN meeting recently, people say, what's she doing there? She out of place.
Right. And
so in a way, when in opposition, it's almost like you're bound to get a kind of licks, right? Regardless.
Yeah, but that's the sad thing. The thing about it is, I wouldn't say that she was out of place, because we don't know that an invitation, and the Prime Minister even was not on, the Prime Minister was unnerved. She was even concerned about the presence of Penny Beckles there, because invitations happen, and invitations can take place where persons are invited without and have purpose for being there. If she had no reason for being there, or an invitation was not extended to her by someone, then she would never get that clearance and that badge to be in that environment, right? So we never understand fully the backstories of how people get there. But when it came to CARICOM, now there's a forum that the Prime Minister the current Prime Minister would have been have been a stakeholder in, because it was created. It's the Assembly of Caribbean Parliamentarians, and of the Caribbean Community Parliamentarians, or something like that. ACCP started in 1987 and officially formalized in the after that, and had several meetings up until the 2000s. It was often chaired by Edwin Carrington, who was SG then, and Trinbagonian, and it was a forum created for that. So it's very clear on the CARICOM website that member states were entitled to 4 members based on its framework and its parliamentary framework, associate members 2 members based on its parliamentary framework, so that there was going to be voices to be heard from all sides. Very much similar to the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association framework, where voices are heard, discussions are had, and all of that, but it has gone defunct. So I feel she was also segueing into the relevance of that again today, in this day and age, where the cycle of politics is we're in today, out tomorrow, in again, you never know, and that you should keep the dialogue open in order to make CARICOM even more effective, more responsive, and more accountable for actions.
Outside of that, though, what you thought of the tone and tenor? I mean, many saw her remarks and saw her stance as a rather brave one. Stepping on the stage, she was the second to last speaker. So, in a sense, a kind of headliner. Everybody was waiting with bated breath as to what the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago was going to deliver. What's your rating on the speech overall?
The speech was a good speech, in my opinion. The speech set the tone for what the outcomes would have yielded in the days after, what the success is. So my thing is, you get the opportunity to let everyone know, this is where I stand. We could all, and it stood out to me, she said, we could all work collectively, to the greater good of the region. And the things that we can collectively agree on. But then when it comes to things like our foreign policy and our security, we must also defend our sovereignty and make the decisions that are pertinent and relevant to us. So she's not saying that she doesn't want to be part of CARICOM. In fact, just not many people know that Trinidad and Tobago has and is the largest contributor to the CARICOM budget. We are the largest contributor. We are number one. And we're living in a world and an age where the Prime Minister is looking at value for money, because it is also an understanding that Trinidad and Tobago is, we're looking to find ways in which we could cut spending. Not that she's going to cut spending to CARICOM, there's an obligation there, but in spending the money that we've obligated ourselves over the years to be the number one contributor to the budget, we need value for money. And that value for money doesn't mean value for money as me for Prime Minister, but to Trinidad and Tobago as a nation, its people, as a sovereign nation contributing. So that part of the speech that says, hey, we can work together for the things that unite us, but there are things that we are going to have. So it says different pathways to walk in achieving goals as individual nations, but seeking a collective good. And that for me stands out, because we can be vested in partnership in the work of CARICOM, but there are going to be issues that are different and specific to each nation, and we have to acknowledge that. Not because we are all binded by the Caribbean Sea. Our longitudinal and latitude location also has something to do with that touching of the Caribbean Sea, because our conditionalities are different depending on where we're located, and we have different issues to address.
And certainly her foreign policy, her position put her there in put on the table to get into this very important discussion with President Trump in early March. I'm seeing President Ali is also part of that from Guyana. But the same question I put to Dr. Devan Maharaj yesterday, I want to put to you. We are not sure as to where Donald Trump's position will be when history writes its story, his story a couple of years from now. Many suggest history might not recall him in the best manner and the best way. And I just wonder, again, this is through your political analyst lens, if you could give me a deeper perspective. If for any reason history does not recall him in any remarkable way, will this also tarnish our Prime Minister's legacy and tarnish Trinidad and Tobago, just based on his particular momentum and what he's doing to the U.S. at this point in time, and, well, I guess the wider world, and just some of what's happening within his own political ecosystem?
So at the end of the day, he's upsetting the apple cart domestically within the confines of the United States. And he's also upsetting the apple cart as it pertains to world order, resetting, realigning, calling people into account and doing whatever that suits his agenda and his legacy. And I think all prime ministers and presidents, when they know that, constitutionally they are not going to be running for a second for third term, can't go again. They're time bound and term limited. They have to seek that level of legacy that they want for themselves. And he may not be doing a very good job to the people of the United States. He may be for others, right? As it pertains to the alignment of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago, when you look at the list of persons attending that Shield of America Summit, we're the smallest nation there. And we're a small island developing state, the only one. Everyone else is in the Latin American belt, from Guyana all the way to Argentina and back up to Costa Rica. That is significant because you want, as a small island developing state, you want to be in the direct sight of the major hegemonies of the world, especially the G7s. And you want to have the backing of a global leader like that, because you have to strategically position yourself. Yes, it might be unpopular in some instances, but if there's maximum benefit to be gained, politics and political science is rooted in self-interest. What is in it for me? We are seeing a politics today that is existing where everyone who is sitting at the table has an agenda of self-interest to get at the front of the line and to benefit from all of these big nations and hegemonic nations. So for me, I believe, I've listened to Dr. Raghunath, I've listened to Professor Ghani. Both are saying the very same thing that I am saying, which is it's a win for Trinidad and Tobago, and anything that benefits Trinidad and Tobago's security, prosperity, and the welfare of our citizens, and benefits us long-term, medium, and short-term, is a win. And it is, for me, I want my prime minister, my country, to be on the front burner, always in the direct line of sight to the hegemonic powers that places us also, even as a small nation, as a hegemony among those are within our categories, a leader within our categories. And I want that. And this is going to sound very selfish, but whatever benefit that we can gain as a nation and as a people that leads to long-term prosperity and security, I'm willing to take that. I don't care what people say, because at the end of the day, as a political scientist, I operate in a world where the geopolitics can change at the snap of a finger, and you must be prepared to dance to the tune that is currently being played so that you can benefit maximum.
So lots of what have transpired, I would have imagined led to this moment, and I'm sure that meeting, because I heard the Prime Minister, she didn't go into detail, but she would have mentioned 3 particular talking points. She said there would be discussions on security, trade, and continued collaboration.
Yeah.
I guess with
that's what you want, right? So we are open for business. We're looking for foreign direct investments. We're looking for major wins financially. We're looking for injection into the economy. Whatever that comes, whatever form that comes in, whether it comes from Qatar, Saudi, the UAE, India, wherever it comes from, the United States, and anybody else that has a willingness and an interest in Trinidad and Tobago to work here, spend money here, invest here, which also will then have a trickle-down effect to investing in people and planet and that the triple P's I call it, right? So why should we be upset? I mean, they've said every possible thing they could say, that she's deranged, she's not thinking straight, she's been inebriated, you name it. The bottom line is, here comes this lady who everybody said is not able to, they talk about how she walks, how she stands, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, she's showing to have a spine and strong backbone, and she's utilizing her skill set, which is an advantage, a critical competitive advantage. Remember, she's the first female Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. She spent most, if not all, of her political career in a patriarchal framework, and she's learned the ability to be able to manipulate in some instances, to create a narrative in some instances, to be able to read and understand somebody's body language, what they're saying, and align yourself accordingly. That, I'm listening to the former foreign minister, Dr. Brown, and the opposition leader. And yes, I understand that they want to push for diplomacy, but we are in a world where diplomacy is getting eroded, and it's all about utilizing your power positions with very different approaches. There's a space and a time and a place for diplomacy, but when this is a rat race for everybody in the world to get the attention of the hegemonic powers, and it's not as Dr. Brown says it to be, where he's using this tone of calm and collective, and it's structured and this and that. It's not that. This is competition. This is hardcore competition by someone who used to be in the business world, fighting for dominance in the business sector. It's the same approach he's taking as it pertains to dominance of global power.
So let me ask. I guess the new politics is almost aligning yourself and having a similar policy position, even to the detriment of your neighbors in the region, because I must bring up Cuba and the position the Prime Minister took on stage, which to me, I took with a pinch of salt, because again, Cuba and their contribution to our medical system, to the amount of surgeries Trinis would have benefited from in Cuba over the years, we can never forget that. And then she spoke about their political structure, but there are many countries in the world with a similar political structure that we do business with up to this day. What makes Cuba this bastard child of the region all of a sudden? And that we have taken this particular position as Trinidad and Tobago towards what I recall being one of our Caribbean neighbors up north.
No, I agree with you on that. Now, yeah, you make a good point about what there are similar countries in the world. I can go online and I could look. The other day I was looking at a university in China, and I was exploring what are the opportunities there. I was looking at programs and policies and vacancies there. I mean, you can go into and we can utilize China. I've been to China. I've been to the major cities in China that shows the levels of development from traditionalism to modernity. And the one thing is you can access information from China. it is very difficult to access information out of Cuba. Simple thing like booking a flight and getting into a hotel over there is very difficult. I have no access if I don't know. You have to go through, in some instances, to a travel agent. And in the age of technology, you want to have information at your fingertips. So there are major websites that don't allow you information to even look at booking at a hotel in Cuba as opposed to China, right? I have a friend and friends working in the various sectors of Cuba. And for me, I would say, boy, or girl, or they live in real big, or they live in large and corporate Cuba. And the answer is no. You don't get tied up by that, because when we don't have water, when water is cut for certain hours during the day, in the shower and the hot water go because the electricity went, and you have those shortages when you go out into the streets. Food is expensive. You're seeing the beautiful Caribbean Sea and the beautiful beaches, but their technology in terms of motor vehicles is in the 1960s, as opposed to all of the human capital potential and education, which you talked about, which we should all be accessing in a way that also allows for free movement and free treatment and exposure of the Cuban people.
We'll have to probably stick up in for now, Dr. Mohammed, because I want us to definitely, next time we speak, elaborate some more. Because obviously there is so much history, so much to unpack when we consider Cuba. But again, thanks for the perspective. Action Pack program.
Alignment is the word of the day, and the way we should go in our best interest.
Yeah. Well, hear you loud and clear. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
All the best.
You too. Take care. All right.
Political analyst there, Dr. Shane Mohammed, touching base with us on this Friday morning. We take the pause and we come back with more action-packed first hour, still very much in motion. Full details when we come back.
This March the 11th and the 12th, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce presents Catalyst SME Conference 2026, where potential becomes performance for SMEs. Over 2 days, gain practical tools to access finance, conduct market research, and position your business for real growth. And on Saturday the 14th, meet real buyers through curated B2B meetings and dynamic pop-up shops, designed to turn strategy into opportunity. 3 days, real strategy, real connections, real opportunity. Register now.
From the producers of Ridiculous 6.5 and 7 Year Itch comes a brand new ridiculously funny comedy.
Two Fat Fellas. Friday 6th, Saturday 7th, and Sunday 8th of March. Queen's Hall. 3 nights only.
Two Fat Fellas stars Cecilia, Penny, Kevon, Zachary, Raisha, and Rody.
Tickets available at Dorman Shoe Store along Circular Mall, K-Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, Brentwood Plaza, Beachology, Mokurapo Road. Queen's Hall box office opens on the 23rd of February. And IslandEtickets.com. For more info on 683-4843.
Two Fat Fellas. Queen's Hall. 3 nights only. Two Fat Fellas.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Janika Shepherd joins me, and by all means, we look forward to this amazing book. It's a children's book, a chance for the children not only to read, but also to color towards the end of it. It's called The Ugly Hummingbird, and let me tell you, this came on the shelves last year, copyright 2025, so this is hot off the press. Janika Shepherd, author, joins me to speak more on this, The Ugly Hummingbird. What a unique name for a title, and I would imagine it's all part of the wider story within the book.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Tell me, in terms of, before we even get into the book itself, at what point the idea popped in, and then obviously it went through the process of putting your ideas down and then, you know, sending it to publish, and you actually get the box and you get the book in hand. Just walk me through the whole process.
Oh boy, well, I have two amazing boys, one 7 years old and the other 3.
Okay.
And I enjoy reading stories with them, bedtime stories. Now, I have been reading since in the womb for them, right? So one day, I read a story that's familiar. Most persons have it in their home, The Ugly Duckling. And, you know, it reaches the part where all the other animals tell him that, you know, you're so ugly, right? But then I reached a part in the book saying the mother is now telling the ugly hummingbird, you're so ugly, go away. Now, I can bring myself with such piercing words, hurtful piercing words. I said, the mother of all, and why would she say something like that? So of course I could not bring myself to even read that aspect of the story, so I just flipped it through, and that thought in my mind, I need to change the narration. I need to. And I didn't want my son to even hear that. I mean, of all persons, your mother telling you that.
Yeah, it's true.
The only person, at the end of the day, sometimes is the mother in your corner. So to say something like that,
You know, they always have this saying that a face only a mother could love. Even a mother supposed to love the child regardless. And that's why I recognize, and funny enough, I've turned to the page where the mother bird, she told the so-called ugly hummingbird that true beauty comes from within. So I guess the mother hummingbird was able to use her words and that motherly love to uplift even the ugly hummingbird who might have had doubts.
Correct.
Yes. A beautiful story. So there is obviously a feel-good element, even though the name itself might have a particular connotation. It's one that when you read it through, you could truly enjoy. And I've recognized you've been very strategic. You've put to the end of the book the ability for children to color.
Of course. In fact, coloring really helps with fine motor skills and handwriting. So it's perfect for penmanship. It's also perfect for activity time, circle time. It's amazing. So because, you know, coloring book, really, what do you do with coloring book when you finish with it, when children finish? Sometimes they just stay in the bookshelf or toss. But this, because it has a story attached to it, again, it's coloring that your child may do that you can keep as a souvenir as well as the story. A story that we need to have. We need to have in our schools. We need to have it.
Is this your first book, Janika?
Very first book.
Fantastic. Plan to do more, I would imagine?
Of course, definitely.
Because, you know, there's author now next to your name, and that's a tremendous accomplishment. Now, in terms of the book itself, where is it available?
Well, everyone can get it on Amazon. Most persons, the population, shop online. So it's easy. You type in the search bar, The Ugly Hummingbird, and it pops right up.
Fantastic. And I mean, this is hot off the press, copyright 2025. So this literally popped into your head and you went through the process last year. And walk me through when you got your first shipment and you was able to physically hold it and go through the pages and really hold product in hand.
It was definitely impactful for me. In fact, I couldn't believe it because a young person from just Trinidad, I saw many persons who have many authors, and I didn't think that this was even possible. So actually doing research, and it's so difficult to even get a book locally out, publishing a book. So being able to do research and knowing how to go about an idea that I have to be on page, It was amazing feeling to actually be able to produce something, and something that we can call our own. We know of so many stories, Republic readers, and we know so many books that are familiar to us. Boyo and Carla.
Yes.
So many. Why not do something that has a moral, has a value that will be so impactful to our young people? And this is not just a story that will impact young people, but also the parents as well, that it can impact. And of course, the hummingbird that we know so much about, that is a little of our pride and joy. Why not?
Indeed. Who did the illustrations?
Well, I actually went on a platform called Fiverr. Fiverr, you can actually get persons, suppliers, and it's an illustrator from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Who did my illustrations. She was amazing to work with, and of course it was within my budget.
Of course.
And she did an amazing job. In fact, working with her, there were many things I had to tweak, because of course even the flowers, the details that I put into it, the flowers, I said, no, change that flower and let's get the hibiscus flower.
Yes.
So that
more localized.
That's right, correct.
Yes.
Even the trees, I was like, I need some banana trees, I need some palms. So really, working with her was definitely a privilege. It was a great experience.
You know, I just did, about a couple of weeks ago, a World Read Out Aloud Day. Went to Samoa Presbyterian to read to the children, and I reminded them of the importance of not only reading, but reading aloud. And so much now is based on technology, and parents a lot of times put the tablets in a child's hand and they lost in there for hours with video content that's stimulating them. But there's a magic in a book where you're able to create your own story, create your own imagination. And I guess the fact that you were so strategic to put the coloring aspect, I think that was a winning move between you and your team. When you started the book, you had that idea initially, determined to put a little part for children to color to the end?
Well,
or this kind of happened naturally while the book was going on?
Yes, it did. It happened naturally. Initially, it was just a story. But after a while, because I homeschooled my boys initially.
Okay. So
really helping him to, even at home, learning things that I never knew before. Because I was in contact with the Trinidad and Tobago Homeschooling Association. And so many things I learned. And I was like, why not? Why not be able to put something like that even parents who are homeschooling at home can be able to use.
Fantastic. Well, as we wrap things up, again, just let me know where we can get it. And is there a particular page? You have any particular information online via the socials?
Yes, really, my business name is Making a Statement, but you can either get it on Making a Statement or Janika Shepherd on Instagram and Facebook. Again, you can get it on Amazon. And of course, really, I want children to know that, listen, big heart, you can be different, but different doesn't mean valuable. Different doesn't mean less. In fact, it can mean more extraordinary, even though you're different.
And I see your author name is Janika J. The J is a secret? What the J stand for?
Really, the J is my maiden name,
okay.
Johannes.
All right.
So the Janika Shepherd, Janika S wasn't so good.
Yeah.
So
Janika J, I like it.
Janika J, because there are more Janika J's books to come.
Hey, listen, congratulations. You're now officially an author. And again, the first entry, The Ugly Hummingbird, get your copy today. Beautiful children's book. And you heard it right here on The Morning Brew. We take a pause and we come back. See you soon.
We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance. But we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza, Endeavour Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon. Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's customized with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Value Optical. Expert care for your eyes.
Enjoy seamless, comfortable vision for reading, driving, or working on the go. No switching glasses, one lens with clarity that adapts to you. See the difference with Apex Camber Ultimate Progressive Lenses from Value Optical. Expert care for your eyes.
My own personal motto is to show citizens of this country that our stories can be told in a professional and international standard. I want to show them that the journalism they consume on cable TV can also exist here. Each day, that's my focus, that's my drive, to show the stories of our communities, of our people, matter just as much as anywhere else in the world. That's why we are where you are.
Welcome back. Let's remind you of ways you can contact us and book your spot to sit with me live in studio, or you can join me on the Zoom line. Short paragraph, sending it to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. We look forward to seeing you soon. We head across to the social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, and X, very active on the social media platforms. Not platform, platforms. We active, we out there. Yes, also the CNC3 mobile app, it's a must-have on your smartphone, your #1 source for verified breaking news, all your favorite content there on demand. Let's head across to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, part of the landscape, the fabric, a stalwart, as it will. And you can enjoy the Guardian on your laptop, your tablet, your smartphone when you get your subscription via guardian.co.tt. Visit today and subscribe. Let's get into our food for thought on this Friday morning. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Strong words there indeed. Words, food for thought going into this Friday and the weekend. So we get ready for a particular scenario. Before we treat with that, let me give you the latest via our World Weather Wrap with Jamark. Jamark, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we head over to New Jersey, where the roof of an ice rink partially collapsed on Wednesday. This was the scene after the incident, which happened around mid-afternoon in Westfield. Emergency crews responded to the scene along with hazmat teams. Union County officials say that the hazmat team responded as a precaution to check air quality. It's not clear yet, but the collapse may have been due to the weight of the snow on the roof. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the incident. Now let's head over to the Indian Ocean, where Cyclone Horatio made history earlier this week as the world's first Category 5 equivalent tropical cyclone of 2026. Forming in the southwest Indian Ocean, the storm underwent explosive rapid intensification. At its peak on Monday, Horatio sustained staggering winds of 260 kilometers per hour, earning the rare, very intense tropical cyclone status from Meteo France. Fortunately, the monster storm remained largely over open waters east of Madagascar, but still lashed some of the smaller islands with 100 km/h gusts and 7-meter swells, but no major land impacts were reported. Today, Horatio is rapidly weakening while tracking south into cooler seas, transitioning into a post-tropical system. Now for our local weather forecast for today, we can expect the hazy conditions to continue due to the Saharan dust, but improvement is expected this weekend. Next week, there's a mild plume coming in on Tuesday. Otherwise, air quality should be generally good. Not much in terms of rainfall over the next few days. We'll get a few brisk showers passing through, which can be accompanied by gusts or stronger winds at times. And remember, we saw a few toppled trees last weekend. Also, the hazardous seas alert remains in effect until 9 a.m. on Saturday, but with the windy conditions extending into next week, sea conditions are not really optimal for any type of activity. So please exercise caution when conducting your marine activities. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Hey, John Mark, sincere thanks. Let's get into Get Something and Pave, a very important development, and I'm going to treat with this immediately. Let's take it in. Now, residents of Long Circular in St. James are calling on the authorities to address this leak. Now, this is happening as we speak in their community, and they're telling us, calls to WASA, no relief, none at all. And it's a backhoe, apparently, that would have caused this particular issue. Oh, apparently WASA, from what I understand, is telling the residents they have no backhoe, all right? The backhoe back up. And the roadway continues, as you can see in real time, to deteriorate, causing problems for motorists. You see what's going on there is brick. Hold on, let's go back to it for a moment. You see they put brick on top of the hole? You see that? And water is the much precious resource that is water. There are places in this country where there is no water. Right? You're seeing water just wasting away, and obviously, water will erode and cause major damage to the roadway. So we're asking the authorities and our friends there at WASA, anyone, if they could treat, look at that water, pressure, wasting away. You see the stones used as a solution? No backhoe. This is Long Circular Road in St. James. We say get something and pave and get something and seal up that leak, please. All right, let's treat with that immediately. We get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Much more after 7.
This March the 11th and the 12th, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce presents Catalyst SME Conference 2026, where potential becomes performance for SMEs. Over 2 days, gain practical tools to access finance, conduct market research, and position your business for real growth. And on Saturday the 14th, meet real buyers through curated B2B meetings and dynamic pop-up shops, designed to turn strategy into opportunity. 3 days, real strategy, real connections, real opportunity. Register now.
Mom, Dad, this is Trevor.
Hi. He's no Kieran. Back up.
Fling? That's why he crossed the road.
It was funny when Kieran said it.
Ooh, who could that be?
We're like the parents who don't miss your ex.
I can't believe Kieran is in the neighborhood.
CG United. Good like that.
PRWC, protect your loved ones with a Western Global Security Combo, only $3,000. PS5 console game, $5,400. Unwind with an 85-inch Samsung TV, $9,999. HP 14-inch laptop for $1,900. Amazon 8-inch Fire tablet, $760. HP print scan copy printer, $625. We have speakers, mouse, printers, and lots more. 3 months layaway also available.
Ever wonder how the way you start your day can make all the difference? Tired of waking up struggling with congestion? Without NeilMed Sinus Rinse, you are likely to battle with nasal congestion, impacting energy levels and overall well-being. The choice is clear. A great morning starts with NeilMed Sinus Rinse. Now I can't imagine starting my day without it. All natural sinus relief.
A very good morning, I'm Akash Samaru with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. The Chaguanas police station was locked down as police began investigating their own colleagues After seized, marijuana went missing from the station and replaced with pieces of wood. Officers say 2 kilograms of marijuana were lodged on Tuesday for safekeeping, but when investigators returned, the drugs were gone. The packages had been photographed and confirmed as marijuana, but were swapped out. Police sources described the theft as unbelievable and even suggested the drugs may have been borrowed. Every officer on duty was ordered to remain at the station while they were questioned, and the Professional Standards Bureau was called in. Chief Personnel Officer Commander Dr. Daryl Dindial continued talks with the contractors and General Workers Trade Union following the signing of revised terms and conditions for the period 2014 to 2016 and 2017 to 2019. The meeting with the union's executive focused on matters arising under the Agreement Affecting Daily Rated Workers at the San Fernando City Corporation, along with other terms and conditions outside of wage negotiations. Dindial said the discussions addressed issues impacting daily rated employees and reaffirmed the union's commitment to their welfare, benefits, and working conditions. He also thanked the union for their participation in the talks. Between January 2024 and February 2026, 22 children either died by suicide or attempted to do so, with males accounting for nearly 2/3 of cases. Data from the police service shows that adolescents between 15 and 16 were the most affected, representing almost 3/4 of all incidents. The Southern and Central divisions recorded the highest number of cases. Hanging was the most common method in completed suicides, while poisoning was most frequently used in attempts. Dr. Sarah Subban, a clinical psychologist specializing in children and families, says awareness, support, and early intervention are critical to reducing the risk of suicide among the nation's youth.
In the Caribbean, we have rigorous exam culture and very high standards some young people are expected to meet. Social pressures that are worsened by social media engagement and things like cyberbullying, relational issues with peers, substance abuse. As mentioned before, if there are existing mental health issues that are unaddressed or go unnoticed, then there is more likelihood that a young person may seek out unhealthy ways of coping.
Well, those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
Hey, welcome back. A very rare occasion that we actually get a chance to open the lines on a Friday, so we're going to definitely take advantage of it right now. It's open forum time, 624-8721, 627-8658. Time to check in. Tell me what's on your mind as we get ready for this final weekend in the second month. I believe Shagonas is on the line. Shagonas, good morning.
A pleasant good morning, Jason.
Morning, Shagonas. I didn't hear from you for a while. I thought you'd fly out.
No, not really. Right, I had some late nights now, so I was waking up a little bit late in the morning.
I understand,
right,
man.
so,
welcome back, man. Looking forward.
Right. Jason, first of all, I want to say that I agree with the Prime Minister. Everybody may have their views, right, but I agree with the Prime Minister that the truth hurts, relevant to address and as exactly what she was saying. Right, you see, I will tell you this. We have our issues to face, and many of the nations within CARICOM itself are not facing the issues that we are facing. So he who is in the kitchen feels the heat, all right? And I admire how she came out and she spoke directly. She spoke the truth about everything, right? And these are the things that we need to face, Jason. If we are to go forward, Jason, first we must be able to face the truth as to who we are, where we are mainly, right, in order for us to go forward in anything in life, all right? So I would just like to say that this morning, right? And I would also like to say hats off to all the hard-working law enforcement outside there, right? I think that there's a lot more good than evil in the land, right? And in spite of what would have taken place with the Joshua Samaru matter, right? I believe that there are a lot of good police officers outside there, right? But in accordance to what Alexander was saying, and he must be mindful of this, right, that if it is that we need to rid the land of whatever evil that there is, right, we must also include, right, whatever evil that there is in uniform. All right? Jason, you have a good day, and I wish Arsenal all the best this weekend.
Yeah, it's a big one, but against Chelsea, so it's a must win.
Yeah. They need that 3 points. They need that 3 points. Take care.
Take it easy, man. That's Shogunas touching base, checking in. Didn't hear from him for a while, so glad to know he's okay. Let's hear from another caller. Let's see who's out there. Good morning.
Morning, JW.
Diego Martin, my friend. How are you going?
Blessings. Before I make my contribution, I want to say to our neighborhood plumber, Clyde Platt-Sibaran, blessings to him, blessings to his parents who allowed him to take a trade and not take an office job because, listen, JW, know what it is? You wake up in the morning and every mat in your bathroom soaking wet with a leaking pipe or whatever was leaking. Called him and he responded before 8 o'clock. So I want to say blessings to him, blessings to all the plumbers, all the honest plumbers, because it have some who are quacks and invalids. But I want to commend all the plumbers who do good work and keep our country pipes from leaking. So I must congratulate them.
Yes.
I want to say to our Prime Minister, listen, I mean, Mia Motley, she handled it anyway, as they say, class is class, eh? Class is class. And, oh boy, I mean, sometimes Kamala Prasad Bisesa, I don't know. I said maybe she should have stayed home, like how she stayed away from the other CARICOM conference.
No, she couldn't do that in Odigo. She couldn't do that in Odigo.
Embarrass our country and herself.
No, she can stay home, because to not be there for the 50th would have been a total.
Really?
That would have been a disrespect. So I think she had to show up, and she did. She did.
Yeah, I don't know. So I looked at it. I think maybe she should have stayed home. And I want to say to Shogunas, I could bet any money on you. I know you was going to support what the Prime Minister said. JW, have a blessed day.
All the best, Diego. All the best, Diego. No, but honestly, Diego Martin, no. I mean, I think if she did not show, even you, Diego Martin, would have called and say, hey, she didn't go to the meeting. So I think it's one of those scenarios that I can't even say damn if you do, damn if you don't. I think she had to go and she went. I guess it's not for us to analyze what was said, but she did go. Tabakit, good morning.
Pleasant morning to you, Mr. Jason Williams.
Good morning to you.
Now, I heard a news clipping just now on your news, and something I want to address frontally, so to speak. In regards to that missing drugs at the Shogunas police station, I am saying the Commissioner of Police have been given the greatest opportunity to start to clean up the police service. Every one of those police officers should be placed on suspension. Let me repeat. This is the opportunity that the police commissioner gets to start cleaning up the service, to show the population, I mean business. And I'm now calling on the Minister Roger Alexander, to read the Riot Act to the commissioner and tell him, look, we will not tolerate this. You cannot tell me in a police station where drugs is stored and it went missing, and you will not have the ordinary day-to-day citizen there. And I am making a clarion call, Mr. Journalist Jason Williams, on your program, to the Commissioner of Police, lead by example. Show the population you mean business, and I'm willing to start with my men to clean up the service. This is the golden opportunity that the commissioner has. You wanted to ask me a question?
No, well, I was going to say, and what you're saying is spot on, and we need to give the commissioner at least today to address this. And I'll tell you, via The Guardian, it says in the article that the officers were ordered to remain in the station, and they were questioned by officers of the Professional Standards Bureau who were called in to assist in the investigation. So A matter of fact, the officers who were there on duty had to stay, and I guess they were drilled as to what comes out of the questioning. Yet to find out. I think today, Tabakit, we must get some answers, because we cannot continue with this. Remember when Rat eat the cocaine in one of the stations?
Correct.
There was a situation in Barataria where drugs went missing. They were charged police for that one. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Listen, let me add this before I leave. As a concerned citizen, I am not saying it's just not enough to interview them there. Every one of the police who was on duty must be placed on suspension, and I make a clarion call to the Honorable Minister Roger Alexander, read the riot act to the Commissioner of Police. They must suspend these men until that investigation is continued. And I think, yes, you all should interview the Commissioner of Police. Thank you. Tabakit out and off.
Take it easy, Tabakit. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that story this morning. I mean, when I saw it in the news last night, I felt so hurt. I felt embarrassed, because I know there are officers who really go out there, Officer Russell and others, who really give their all. Officer Lal, Officer Ali. I know these men by name. They are like colleagues. You could see the men really give their all. They go out there, they do our honest work, and then you have those who move in the goalposts and trying to cheat, and they want to live a big life and looking to touch and tap it. I mean, how drugs could just remove itself from a police station? Come on, man, that's embarrassing the service. And we need to really hold those who are dragging the flag accountable and to string them up. Without a doubt. So I hear you loud and clear this morning, Tabakit. Let's head now to Santa Cruz.
Support Mr. Tabakit with respect to the whole question of the drugs that gone missing in the Chaguanas police station. And let me say, Jason, I believe you should, as police who have to protect and serve, you should have cameras pointing which part you have your guns located, which part you have the drugs located. So anybody going there, the camera going to pick them up. The time has come when there will be cameras, total cameras, in the police station, so you cannot have things like that. Because if that is happening, then you cannot go outside and want to arrest anybody when the police of themselves is culpable of actually committing crimes within the police system.
Yeah.
My second point is Gary Griffith and want to go to the Privy Council. If you know you did nothing wrong with respect to the FUL license, then there is no need for you to be concerned about the publication of the audited report. If you're innocent of anything, but to say you want to go to the Privy Council to block them from making the report public, it is tantamount to you guilty of committing some kind of crime that we're not privy to. So I am saying to Gary Griffith, the minute you decide to go to the Privy Council, it means to say that you're guilty. If the court rules that the matter should be made public, then let it be made public. If you're innocent of anything, then it will prove that. Thank you, Jason, and God bless the people of Santa Cruz.
All right, Santa Cruz. Interesting point there. I mean, obviously, you see, when things go in Parliament, I would imagine anything could be said, and, you know, there is the parliamentary privilege. So I would imagine probably Gary's trying to protect his end on that development. But again, I mean, Gary's always welcome to come in on the program and explain himself. He's always a regular guest here with us for the Morning Brew. But thanks a lot, Santa Cruz, for the commentary. Let's head now to Faizabad. Faizo, good morning.
Morning, my brother. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Welcome, Faizo. Good to hear you, man. I'm listening.
All right. But Jason, what Gary is contending, the Honorable Gary Griffith, the ex-minister, he's saying that he was denied the right to be heard. And in natural judgment, you have to have a right to be heard before, you know, anything could come out of it. So I support him on doing what he's going to do. Eventually, it's going to become public. It's going to be some way to find it. You know, people think they find themselves in mailboxes.
Yeah. Yes.
So we will find out. with respect to the Prime Minister and her support for democracy as opposed to oppression, you know, I would have quite a few friends who would normally take medication to the Cuban people via suitcases, you know. They don't even have Panadol up there, you know, my brother. Little babies suffering.
Yeah, I know. And my question to you, Faisal, is who caused that? There's America's embargo since the 60s. They have tried to strangle this nation. And to me, to what end, really and truly?
And so I am saying to you, it has gone, but we have to find ways to correct the wrong. I'm not agreeing with America. I remember the beer pig. That was an embarrassing situation to the Americans. Yes?
Yeah.
So, you know, and coming out of those days, you had political, strong-headed people who, you know, whatever it takes to get leadership. Now, the other thing I'm saying to you, I support the cause for democracy. You know, places like Cuba and Venezuela, where we often heard from the government and not the people, because the population in South Florida is about 104 million Cubans. Yeah, Cubans. I mean, if things were nice in Cuba, you wouldn't find that migration. Anyhow, apart from that, I support democracy all over. Let the people have their say. You see, we can't be living in a democracy and support oppression. Something has to be definitely wrong there. The other thing is with Delcy Rodriguez. You notice how delicate her statements were?
Yeah, that change of tone.
She didn't come up with this strong arm thing, you know.
Well, it's a different time, and she's answering to a different
my brother.
Different person conducting the band right now.
Exactly, and so I am telling you,